Number 5. The ghosts of the catacombs. When you consider how many locations, like old houses or abandoned mental institutions, have a reputation for being haunted due to the discovery of just a few bodies, it comes as no surprise that many of the world's catacombs have apparently been discovered to be haunted by the specters of the past. Take, for example, the Paris Catacombs. Built as a mass grave in the 18th century in order to deal with the overflowing of local cemeteries, the Paris Catacombs hold the remains of millions of Parisians. A few years after being established, Louis-Étienne Héricard decided to make the catacombs a work of art by arranging the bones into elaborate displays. An inscription in the catacombs even reads, "Arrête, c'est ici l'empire de la mort," which translates to "stop. This is the empire of the dead." In the years since, there have been several reports of ghosts wandering the labyrinth-like grave, searching for a way out. As if that weren't bad enough, rumor has it that if you come into the catacombs at night, you will hear the whispers of all the spirits of the catacombs, trying to convince you to venture deeper and deeper into the catacombs until you become lost and unable to find your way out. Another often reported ghost is that of Philibert Asper, who was a doorman at the Val-de-Grâce hospital, who made his way into the catacombs in late 1793 when he was sent to fetch liquor from a cellar. With only the light of a single candle to find his way out, he soon became lost and confused. It is also theorized that he was quite drunk at the time. His candle eventually went out, and it became pitch black. He was missing for 11 years before his remains were found and identified, due to the hospital keys and the bottle of liquor in his hand. He was interred in the catacombs at the exact location where he was found. In the years since, urban explorers calling themselves cataphiles have reported seeing the spirit of Asper wandering the halls of the catacombs with his candle on the anniversary of him going missing. The cataphiles are known for paying their respects at his grave, and they have named his spirit the protector of the cataphiles. Number 4. Living quarters. Moving towards the more tangible discoveries on the list, we have another disturbing discovery from the Paris catacombs. In 2004, the French police were exploring a restricted area of the Paris catacombs when they were met with the sound of a vicious guard dog barking at them. They searched for the dog and discovered that the sound was actually coming from a PA system that was playing pre-recorded barking. The police continued to search and found that the section of the catacombs had been wired for electricity and was stealing power from the buildings above, and that whoever was stealing the power had also set up working phone lines. They continued their search and found that a bed, a bar, a lounge, a workshop, and even a makeshift cinema had been installed in the catacombs, with seats for up to 20 people having been carved into the stone of the catacombs. As if that weren't bad enough, they realized that the area was also filled with security cameras that were recording them. The police left in order to assemble a larger team, with plans to return to investigate further. When they returned with more men, they discovered that the wiring, as well as all the furniture, drinks, cameras, phones, cinema projectors, and other electronics had vanished. The only thing that remained was a note, written by the mastermind who had managed to assemble this living quarters in the catacombs for the police. It read, "Ne cherchez pas," or "Don't search." No trace of this strange squatter was ever found, and this story remains one of the most unusual in the Paris catacombs' long history.
Next up at number 3, the catacombs of Catacomb el-Shokafa. Beneath the golden sands of Alexandria, Egypt, lies a haunting labyrinth that defies time itself, the catacombs of Catacomb el-Shokafa. In a city steeped in history and mystery, these catacombs hold a chilling tale that transports visitors to a bygone era, where life and death intertwine in a macabre dance. Named after the Arabic term for mound of shards, the catacombs of Catacomb el-Shokafa were carved out of the rock during the 2nd century AD, a testament to the city's diverse cultural influences. As you descend into the depths, the air becomes thick with a sense of antiquity, a palpable link to an age when the subterranean necropolis served as a final resting place for Alexandria's citizens. The catacombs chambers unfold in a series of winding passageways, adorned with intricate carvings that meld Egyptian, Greek, and Roman artistic motifs. beliefs. It is as if the catacombs themselves bear witness to the cosmopolitan nature of ancient Alexandria, a crossroads of civilizations that converged in life and now converge in death. But amidst the awe-inspiring architecture and art lies a haunting tale. Deep within the catacombs, a chamber known as the Hall of Caracalla holds a grim tableau, a stone sarcophagus flanked by niches that once held the remains of the deceased. However, it is not the sarcophagus that captivates the imagination, rather its unsettling depiction carved into the stone itself. Here, the myth of the afterlife clashes with a haunting reality. The carved scene portrays a woman with the body of a serpent, believed to be the goddess Medusa, embracing a skeleton in a grotesque dance of death and transformation. It is a chilling representation of the ancient belief in the journey to the underworld, where life and death merge into a realm of darkness and rebirth. As visitors explore the catacombs, they may encounter a sense of unease, a feeling that the spirits of the past still linger in the shadows. Whispers of long-forgotten conversations seem to echo through the stone corridors, and the flicker of candlelight casts the silhouettes of the dead upon the walls, bringing the carvings to life in a dance of their own. Enter at your own risk, but honestly guys, we should have learned that Egyptian tombs were haunted 24 years ago when The Mummy came out. Number 2, Odessa Catacombs. Beneath the sunlit streets of Odessa, Ukraine, lies a dark and sprawling underworld that has witnessed some of the most chilling chapters in human history. The Odessa Catacombs. These subterranean mazes, a labyrinthine network of tunnels and chambers spanning over 2,500 kilometers, have been both a sanctuary and a setting for a series of harrowing historical events that have left an indelible mark on the region's past. Initially made from limestone in the 19th century to serve as a source of building material for the burgeoning city of Odessa, these catacombs soon transformed into a backdrop for some of the most dramatic moments of the 20th century. During World War II, they became a refuge for partisan fighters battling against German occupation. The winding passages concealed secret hideouts, makeshift hospitals, and clandestine meeting points, as brave souls plotted resistance against a formidable enemy. It was within these damp and dimly lit catacombs that whispers of defiance and hope echoed through the stone, a stark contrast to the atrocities transpiring above ground. Their stories, etched into the very walls that sheltered them, bear witness to the resilience of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming odds. One of the most haunting episodes occurred during the Soviet era, when the catacombs became a place of mass executions and burials. As Stalin's regime unleashed its brutal purges, those deemed enemies of the state were led into the catacombs' depths, never to return. The walls of the catacombs themselves hold the silent testimony of these tragic events, a chilling reminder of the price paid for speaking out against tyranny. Today, the Odessa Catacombs remain a potent reminder of the complex of human history, both heroic and harrowing. And it wouldn't be a catacomb list without this. At number 1 is the Catacombs of Paris. Underneath the romantic streets and iconic landmarks of Paris lies a hidden world that holds a chilling secret, the Catacomb de Paris. This underground labyrinth, a subterranean city of bones, bears witness to a history of mortality, mystery, and macabre fascination. Originally quarries that supplied the stone for many of the city's buildings, the catacombs transformed into a haunting ossuary in the late 18th century. Overflowing cemeteries and the need to address public health concerns led to the decision to transfer the remains of millions of Parisians to this eerie resting place. Descending into the depths, visitors are confronted with an intricate arrangement of skulls and bones, a solemn and haunting mosaic that spans generations. As you wander through the dimly lit passages, the walls themselves seem to whisper the stories of those who rest there. The bones, meticulously stacked and arranged in ornate patterns, carry the weight of a city's history. The catacombs became not only a repository for the deceased, but also a physical manifestation of the collective memory of Paris, a solemn reminder of the passage of time and the impermanence of life. But beyond the sheer magnitude of its bone-chilling spectacle, Paris catacombs have also witnessed a darker side of human nature. Over the centuries, the catacombs have served as a refuge for outlaws, revolutionaries, and even secret societies. Tales of hidden chambers, clandestine meetings, and enigmatic rituals shroud the catacombs in an aura of mystery and intrigue. The catacombs have drawn the curious and the adventurous, beckoning them into a world where the border between life and death blurs. Brave souls who have ventured into the uncharted depths have reported chilling encounters, whispers in the darkness, unexplained shadows, and an overwhelming sense of being watched by unseen eyes. Throughout its history, the Paris catacombs have captured the imagination of writers, artists, and thrill-seekers alike. Its underground realm has inspired tales of horror and fascination, its chambers fueling the creative fire of countless minds. The catacombs have become a symbol of the uncanny, a place where the veil between the known and the unknown seems to waver. Number 5. Stephans Crypt. Beneath the grandeur of Vienna's iconic Stephans Cathedral lies a crypt that harbors not only the remains of the faithful departed, but also a chilling tale that will send shivers down your spine. The Stephans Crypt, with its cold stone walls and eerie silence, conceals a haunting history that defies the passage of time. As you descend the narrow staircase into the depths of the crypt, a musty scent of decay fills the air, mingling with the faint echoes of long-forgotten prayers. The uneven flicker of dim candlelight casts unsettling shadows that dance upon the ancient tombs, creating an atmosphere that seems to resonate with the whispers of the past. Among the crypt's inhabitants, one particular story stands out in its bone-chilling dark nature. It is said that beneath the cathedral's hallowed ground, the restless spirit of a jester lingers, forever condemned to roam the crypt for an unknown transgression. Locals speak of his phantom footsteps through the corridors at night, a faint jingling of bells accompanying his spectral presence. Legend has it that this jester, known for his mischievous ways and morbid sense of humor, had dared to mock the clergy with irreverent jests during a time of great religious fervor. His insolence did not go unnoticed, and he soon found himself accused of heresy. Condemned to a grim fate, he was entombed within the Stephans Crypt, a fitting punishment for his mockery. It is said that the jester's anguished laughter can be heard echoing through the crypt, his spectral form appearing as a distorted blur in the corner of one's eye. Some claim to have glimpsed his twisted visage, leering from the shadows, a chilling grin frozen in perpetual torment. Visitors to the Stephans Crypt often recount unsettling experiences, a sudden drop in temperature, an inexplicable feeling of being watched, or a chilling touch that raises goosebumps. Skeptics dismiss these accounts as mere imagination, but those who have felt the crypt's creepy embrace cannot deny the palpable sense of unease that hangs heavy in the air. The Stephans Crypt, with its ominous aura and the tale of the jester's restless spirit, serves as a reminder that even in death, the past has a way of reaching out to the living. And as you stand among the centuries-old tombs and listen to the echoes of history, you can't help but wonder if the jester's spectral presence still roams these shadowy corridors, forever condemned to haunt the crypt beneath Vienna's majestic cathedral. At number 4 is the Capuchin Monastery Catacombs. Hidden beneath the bustling streets of Rome, where tourists and locals alike wander unaware, lies a macabre and haunting testament to the passage of time. The Capuchin Monastery Catacombs. Nestled within the heart of the Eternal City, these catacombs hold a somber history that stretches back centuries, a haunting reminder of mortality and the transient nature of human existence. Originally established in the 17th century, the Capuchin Monastery Catacombs were intended to serve as a final resting place for the Capuchin friars. These monks, known for their ascetic lifestyle and dedication to poverty, sought to create a space that reflected their core beliefs, a place of simplicity and reflection even in death. What emerged, however, was a chilling chamber of bones and memento mori, a striking blend of devotion and morbidity. As one descends into the depths of the catacombs, a surreal scene unfolds. The walls and ceilings are adorned with skeletal remains of over 4,000 Capuchin friars, meticulously arranged in intricate patterns. The bones are used as decorative elements, forming elaborate designs that include crosses, chandeliers, and even coats of arms. It's a haunting display of mortality and artistry, where death itself becomes a medium of expression. Among the skeletal decorations, visitors can witness the eeriest sights: the bodies of the deceased, dressed in tattered robes of the Capuchin order, hanging from hooks on the walls. These eerily preserved bodies, colloquially referred to as the sleeping friars, serve as a stark reminder of the fragility of life. Each one tells a silent tale of devotion and decay, a visual narrative of the monastic journey from life to death. Though the catacombs don't hold just monks, it became known around Italy that anyone could be preserved there for a mighty price. The monks set up a method of donation where an annual payment would make sure your loved ones would be well preserved and propped up for all to see. Nowadays, we call that life insurance, am I right? Anyone who missed a payment would have their loved ones' bodies placed in less favorable positions, picked apart to create decorations, or have their mummified carcass removed entirely. The haunting history of the Capuchin Monastery Catacombs is a chilling testament to the complex relationship between life and death, faith and decay. It forces us to confront our own fears surrounding death and ponder the legacy we leave behind. But your legacy can be to like, comment, and subscribe. Just kidding. Not really.
Number 3, traps. Stepping away from Paris for a bit, let's explore the infamous Znojmo catacombs in the Czech Republic. Although commonly known as the Znojmo catacombs, this is actually a misnomer, as there is no evidence that they were used for the internment of human remains. However, this doesn't mean that these passages weren't commonly filled with corpses. Originally used as subterranean cellars by the locals during the Middle Ages, in the 14th and 15th century, these various individual cellars began to be linked together together, transforming them into a massive maze of tunnels covering a distance of over 30 kilometers. To this day, the tunnels have not been completely mapped, as there are sections that have been completely flooded. During times of war, the locals would hide in the catacombs. It had water due to a series of wells located in the tunnels. It also had sewage and drainage systems to keep the tunnels clean, and due to shafts leading to the fireplaces and chimneys of the buildings above it, it also had ample ventilation. Locals were also able to use the tunnels to get out of the city should a quick escape be needed. If they were invaded, the invaders would be met with an empty city whose chimneys were inexplicably still spewing smoke, giving the place an eerie ghost town vibe. But what would happen if the invaders found one of the entrances to the catacombs and entered the tunnels? Well, there were measures in place to make sure that those who didn't know the secrets of the catacombs would never find their way out. Beyond simply being a confusing underground maze, the catacombs were constructed with an elaborate series of traps worthy of an Indiana Jones movie. The catacombs feature narrow choke points, as well as trap doors which would drop unsuspecting invaders to their deaths. Perhaps most clever were the series of slippery slides, which led to deep inescapable pits, so the invaders would end up trapped without food or water and with no means of escape. While the catacombs provided locals with a safe haven during times of war, for the enemies it was a nightmarish labyrinth where death could wait around every corner, with few soldiers ever getting out once they entered the tunnels. Number 2. The bodies of the lost. As catacombs in their most traditional form are designed to be mass graves filled with the bodies of the deceased, it should come as no surprise when bodies are found within their walls, even if it is kind of spooky. However, there's a big difference between finding a body that has been interred in the grave and finding a body that absolutely should not be there. It is not uncommon for bodies of lost explorers to be found in catacombs all over the world, such as poor Philibert from entry number 1, who was found in the Paris catacombs. However, for our examples for this entry, let us explore the Odessa Catacombs, located in the Ukraine. The Odessa Catacombs are another example of catacombs that don't fit the classical definition, as they were constructed mostly for the purpose of mining, rather than the storage of dead bodies. Although there are rumors that after World War II, the catacombs were used to store executed German soldiers. The catacombs are some of the largest in the world, running up to 2,500 kilometers. They were used as air raid shelters during the Second World War and as fallout shelters during the Cold War, and have apparently been used by smugglers in order to transport goods and hide treasure. Over the years, several people have made their way into the Odessa Catacombs only to never find their way out. For example, in 2015, a man brought his girlfriend into the catacombs in order to end her life with an axe, and in 2011, another murder victim was found in the catacombs after having been there for an estimated 3 to 6 months. One of the most infamous cases of someone dying and later being found in the catacombs is a girl named Masha. In 2005, Masha and her friends entered the catacombs for a New Year's Eve party. They stayed the night and drunkenly made their way back to their homes the next day. Unfortunately, they were so intoxicated that they didn't realize that Masha wasn't with them. She had wandered off and gotten lost in the tunnels. After a few hours, her flashlight battery would have died, and she would have spent the rest of her life wandering around the tunnels in the dark, searching for food, water, and a means of escape. It is hoped that she froze to death within a few hours. Otherwise, she would have become delirious with dehydration and taken up to a week to pass. Her body was discovered in 2009 when a group of teenagers stumbled across it. The body stayed where it was found until 2 years later, when a laborer removed the body in hopes of getting a reward from the family. He wrapped the remains in a blanket, but the words he used to describe the state of the body when he found it are quite visceral, as he called the body bone soup. Masha's story is tragic, but illustrates the importance of staying out of dangerous places when you are alone. Number 1. The Dead Man's Camera. In the 1990s, a group of explorers were wandering the Paris catacombs when they found something lying on the ground. A dust-covered video camera with over 40 minutes of footage on it. The footage showed an explorer wandering the halls of the dead and studying the remains. Occasionally, he would see bones on the ground in the shape of arrows, presumably being used to mark a path. Suddenly, the man starts running, and we can hear his breathing getting louder and louder, with him seemingly getting more and more panicked. He begins to look around in confusion, seemingly unsure of which way to go in the maze-like tunnels. The camera is the man's only source of light in the dark tunnels, which is why it's so surprising when he suddenly drops the camera and continues running deeper and deeper into the catacombs, with nothing to light his way. No trace of the man has ever been found, and we have no idea what he was running from, and many assume that this footage shows the final moments of this man's life. There is no way to verify the events found on the footage as being real or a hoax or even a prank, but the questions that the tape raises were enough to inspire the 2014 horror film As Above, So Below, which is a found footage film about urban explorers getting lost in the catacombs and becoming beset by paranormal forces.